Notre Dame football is presented to you by Coke Zero. And just a few moments ago, the official coin toss with Lou Holtz taking his place with the Irish. As we mentioned, being honored today along with his 88 national championship team, taking part in the coin toss, which Notre Dame won, by the way. And the Irish have elected to defer. There it is.
You think he brought Mark May along with him?
I don't think so. I think he was glad to get away from it, probably.
Quite
so
a pair.
Michigan will receive. Sissoko and Shaw are the deep men as Burkhart kicks it off for Notre Dame.
Fumble.
Ball still loose right at the 1. Finally picked up by Sissoko. And he'll be stopped inside the 10-yard line.
Well, we just talked about ball security. While it's not raining today, it was pouring earlier today. And Sissoko.
Right off his pad, huh?
Yeah, right off his pads. Easy catch. Just missed, then couldn't find it. And then David Bruden, number 27. You're going to see David Bruden, number 27, and number 37, Mike Anello, chucking down the field like this on every special teams and making most of the tackles.
The tarp was on the field all morning during that heavy rain. It came off about 12:30. It hasn't rained since. But Michigan in a hole here at their own 9-yard line. Stephen Threet is their quarterback. Play action fake. Threet with a toss to Matthews, and Greg Matthews to the 15-yard line. Stopped by Terrell Lambert. And there are the numbers on Threet, who is a freshman. He's a sophomore academically, a transfer from Georgia Tech.
And you'll see the no huddle all day from the Wolverines. It's part of Rich Rodriguez's style and offense.
And usually in the shotgun as they are now. Here's a handoff to McGuffey. Sam McGuffey strung out by Notre Dame, but he crosses the 20, and that's a Michigan first down. Brian Smith, the tackle for Notre Dame, as we look at the Adidas starting lineups for the Michigan Wolverines, with McGuffey just getting that carry. Odom's the chief receiving threat for the Wolverines. That's their offensive line. Untested, really, in the offensive line.
Yeah, and Perry Dorstein, the left tackle, gets his first start.
First and 10 from the Michigan 21. McGuffey breaking free for the moment, crosses the 30 and has another Michigan first down before David Bruton tracks him down. A gain of 11. Adidas starting lineups for the Irish: Ryan Williams, Kuntz, and Neal, as this is the defense against the spread, with Brian Smith and Maurice Crum at the linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs: McNeil, Bruton, McCarthy, Lambert, and Sergio Brown, one of the heroes of the opening win. Michigan moving the ball, though. They're out to the 32. The drive began at their own 9. Handoff, nothing there for McGuffey that time. Loss of 2 or 3 yards. Penetration by Pat Coons.
A nice play by number 96, Pat Coons, the middle of the screen, playing more inside today. Ordinarily, he's a defensive end, but as you said, Tom, they're playing their spread defense, so he's back to his old position, which he played last year at nose tackle.
Almost a slip by McGuffey as much as a tackle. Second down and 12. 3 wide receiver formation, shotgun. Threet's pass, a little sidearm. There's a flag down. It's to the tight end, Carson Butler, who's collapsed at the 35-yard line by Brian Smith.
Well, umpire threw that flag, right, Tom? You know what that means?
Holding generally.
Yeah.
Personal foul. Illegal chop block.
Ooh.
Number 50 offense.
See, they crossed you up, didn't they?
He did.
As you crossed me up.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do. Those umpires look for the holdings. They look at the illegal chop blocks. Usually that means one guy is engaged and another offensive lineman chops the other guy. Watch there in the offensive line.
It's David Molk, the redshirt freshman center.
He chopped Pat Kuntz. That's one of those safety calls, right? Trying to protect the defensive lineman from the chop block, blowing out knees.
Brandon Miner in at running back now for the Wolverines. 2nd and 27 from their own 15. Threet swings it to Miner. Got it. It's on the turf. Notre Dame covers it. It is. Yep. It's a complete pass and a fumble. And Notre Dame has recovered. It's Brian Smith that makes the fumble recovery.
Well, the issue is it a backward pass or was it a backward pass? He's right on the 10-yard line. That is a backwards pass. No doubt about it. Good call. Good hustle by Brian Smith. One of the playmakers on their defense. You know, just a little bit behind Brandon Miner. Still probably should have been caught. But a heads-up play by Brian Smith.
So the backward pass bobbled, recovered by Notre Dame.
Started with good special teams coverage in the kickoff, right, Tom? It set him up.
Two tight end formation. Robert Hughes is the running back. Fake to Hughes. Clausen scrambling for the end zone. Threw it away. Intended for Kamara, who was closest to it anyway, but it looked like Clausen maybe threw it away.
You know, Charlie Weiss said to us yesterday, hey, we want to score early, very quickly. And he got great field position.
Presented with a golden opportunity here, but misfiring on a first down pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 11 after the backward pass. The lateral recovered by Notre Dame.
Michael Floyd, the freshman down here, getting the start today. Caught a touchdown last week.
Armando Allen in at running back, trying to pick up the rushers there. Clausen scrambling. Gets to the outside and will be caught from behind. And he fumbled. Still waiting. And it will be Notre Dame's ball. John Thompson knocked the ball loose from the scrambling Jimmy Clausen, but the Irish able to recover.
Yeah, this is one thing we didn't see much last year from Jimmy Clausen. There's the ball comes out. I tell you, Clausen does a great job of recovering. Strong hands. That's the ball well secured, but a good tackle by John Thompson. But, you know, good avoidance by Clausen to start to play off, Tom. It really should have been a sack.
What it does is set up a 3rd down. 6 yards to go from the 7. They can make a first down without scoring. Clausen's pass. That'll be interference called in the end zone, intended for the freshman Michael Floyd. That's where he caught the touchdown pass last week. And Morgan Trent of Michigan will be called for pass interference.
A true freshman, Michael Floyd, came in with all kinds of expectations.
Number 14 defense.
Morgan Trent
plays from the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
And, you know, after just one game, you'd think, hey, maybe Tommy's kind of lived up to those, right? He caught the touchdown pass last week. First freshman ever to score the first touchdown of the season for the Irish, holding there or pass interference on Morgan Trent. You know, he's a big-bodied guy, and you're going to have to battle him down there inside the 15-yard line.
So automatic first down, the ball at the 2, 1st and goal. Hughes to the outside for the touchdown. Asaph Schwab, the fullback, springing with a good block, and Robert Hughes scores the touchdown.
Think about that series, though, Tom. Special teams play first, right? Then the defensive turnover, and then they punch the ball in. All 3 of their units contributing to that touchdown.
Aided by some Michigan penalties, we should add.
Indeed.
Lou Holtz likes it as Brandon Walker will attempt the extra point. Walker hit all 3 of his point after touchdown attempts last week. And this one is good as well. There's a look at Robert Hughes, scored his first touchdown of the season. Got to the outside, nobody was there. 7-0 Irish. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories. By Adidas, impossible is nothing. By ADT Security Services, always there. And by Charles Schwab, premium service expected, don't pay for it. Talk to Chuck, Charles Schwab. Well, Michigan fumbles a backward pass. Notre Dame recovers. A key interference penalty in the end zone. And Notre Dame scores. Charlie Weiss saying the important thing, the key to this game, score early. He's gotten his wish. Burkhart's kick is short. Fumbled again by Shaw this time. And Notre Dame is recovered.
Guess who got it? Number 37.
Mike Anello.
Mike Anello, the special team wonder for the Irish.
And Michigan is just handing these opportunities to Notre Dame early.
You know, 2 mishandled kicks to start the game. But it was number 37, I believe, was going to come up with a bottle in that pile. Mishandled right there. It really easily should have been caught.
Look at him diving right in there, just underneath Shaw, who was trying to recover.
High school wrestler, right, as he told us last week, out of Chicago. Former walk-on, given a scholarship a few weeks ago by Charlie Weiss.
And a cult hero, as Coach Weiss said, on the Notre Dame campus.
You know, he deserves it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he is absolutely earned. He's not, you know, like Rudy, who comes in and plays occasionally. He plays on all the special teams for the Irish and has really earned his scholarship.
So from the 14, another big opportunity for the Irish. Michigan continues to dig themselves a hole. Drop back, Clausen, first down for the freshman Floyd, but over his head and incomplete.
You know,
Donovan Warren with it.
Just thinking about Mike Anello, it's just amazing to me that a guy like Mike Anello, who is 5'9" and 180 pounds, Tom, can get down to the field first. He's not the fastest guy, right, by a long stretch. Everybody knows he's making up a bunch of the tackles. Yet Mike Anello, you watch him today on punts and kicks. There he is. But, unbelievable.
What was it your coaches always used to say, though? Desire. You've got to want to do it.
And believe me, he wants it. Great student, too, 3.9 in finance. On his way to Wall Street next year, probably.
Handed off to Hughes, Robert Hughes. And the fans get their chance to say not boo, but Hughes.
And for Michigan, if you're a Michigan fan, you know, this is an opportunity where that stout front seven really has to step up on this 3rd and 6 and force a field goal attempt. That's
the strength of the Michigan defense, lauded by the Michigan coaches and the Notre Dame coaches alike. Tough front seven. It's 3rd down and 6.
Twice he's gone to Michael Floyd in this situation early. Look at the top.
Short drop. Fade pattern. Kamara. Got it. Touchdown.
And Tom, what a difference a week makes. Remember they tried that same play last week that was intercepted? And Charlie Weiss was talking to us about it, you know, last week. He said, you know, Ginny probably shouldn't have thrown it, but Kamara really should have gone up and got after it. He did that time. So they worked on that play all week long. A great start for the Irish.
And Kamara, who had one bounce off his pads for an interception last week, did a good job of getting that knee down in the end zone. And Walker's extra point is good. 2 big miscues for the Wolverines. 2 touchdowns for the Irish. 14-0 Notre Dame. Lou Holtz and his 1988 national championship team out on the field while we were away and being cheered by the crowd. They picked a good time to come out as the Irish went up 14-0, and they beat Michigan on their way to that national championship as Ryan Burkhart kicks off. Shaw, who fumbled the last one, not out there. It's Harrison and Sissoko. Harrison out of his own end zone, and he is stopped short of the 15 by David Bruton, who's the other special teams man.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Notre Dame team this far, it's early, but boy, they played well in all 3 phases. Opening kickoff, you see David Bruton, another special teams extraordinary player, making the play. And then the defense, the second phase, right? Backwards pass, Brian Smith jumps on it, sees it, reads it, has a quick enough get up to get there. And then back on special teams, a muffed kickoff return by the Irish, and Mike Anello, all 5'9" of them, got 5'8" of him over the ball.
14-yard line, Michigan puts it into play. Stephen Threet still a quarterback in the shotgun. Handoff, McGuffey, stopped for a loss. And the Irish defense fired up. Pat Coons and company. Brian Smith there, too.
Excuse me, Tom. Don't you get the feeling that Pat Coons plays a little bit better inside rather than a defensive end? He just looks more comfortable. He's inside playing kind of a nose tackle, or what they call a 3 technique position, more than he does as a defensive end.
Senior from Indianapolis.
Yeah, made 2 good plays so far in this game from the inside.
2nd down and 13. Irish show blitz from Crum, then back out of it. Smith is coming on the blitz. Threet passing it to McGuffey. And McGuffey will be taken out of bounds by Terrell Lambert.
Sam McGuffey, kind of a YouTube sensation. You know, kind of had a really terrific high school career. And, you know, their leading rusher thus far and leading receiver.
Came in with an average of 3.3 yards a carry and 5 receptions for 54 yards.
But again,
it's big third down here now.
Yeah,
third and 11.
And Stephen Threet really has to be careful here. Their quarterback from Michigan backed up in your end zone at 3rd and long with a team that's really getting after you.
3rd and 11. The pass is caught. Greg Matthews catches it in traffic and has a Michigan first down, a 14-yard gain.
That is one heck of a catch, and then a throw by Stephen Threet. Good protection. Perry Dornstein, the left tackle, but I tell you, he kind of threaded the needle in between 3 blue jerseys, right?
Did.
And Greg Matthews, injured, didn't play last week. At 6'3", just goes up and gets it for the first big play by Greg Matthews.
And held on to it despite the vicious hit. Hand to McGuffey. McGuffey still on his feet. Nice cutback. Across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Close to another first down.
His Notre Dame defense last week, if you look at the Notre Dame fan looking for optimistic things, they were pretty good against San Diego State. They broke up 8 passes, had an interception, forced a fumble, got after the quarterback, only allowed 71 rushing yards. And Tom, as I said at the top, I thought the special teams played as well as we've seen for Charlie Weiss over the last 4 years.
McGuffey able to get first down yardage. First down for the Wolverines, 38-yard line. Here's McGuffey again. Cuts up and has 4 yards on first down. Kerry Neal with the tackle. As the Wolverines try to put together some first downs, today's yellow first down line is brought to you by Xerox. Michigan needs a nice sustained drive if they can get one here after the 2 turnovers led to 2 Irish scores.
Or at least flip the field position, right?
Second down and 6. Reed looking to the sideline where they may be changing the play call. Now he does change it. Lets his teammates know. 7 on the play clock. Looks to the right, throws that way, and got away with it.
That's a heck of a throw by Stephen Threet because he had somebody right in his face. I think it was Brian Smith.
He looked that way all the way, telegraphed it, but still the timing was good enough to Darryl Stoneham to make the completion.
Brian, actually it was Kerry Neal, number 56, not number 58. Kerry Neal coming off the edge, but good throw. 2 good throws we've seen by Stephen Threet in this drive.
Now 3rd down and a yard.
And the first time you could really see him under center.
And in the eye, Moondros the fullback, McGuffey the tailback. McGuffey didn't make it, stopped in his tracks as Threet slipped as he made the handoff, and McGuffey never able to get to the line of scrimmage.
It was Justin Brown. Boy.
He was in the backfield.
Yeah, Justin Brown was there. You see Brian Smith as well. Yeah, number 94 really blew his guy back. Justin Brown kind of alternating at the right defensive end. So, boy, I've seen good defense line play by the Irish. Justin Brown, Pat Kuntz, Kerry Neal.
And so Zoltan Mesko will come on to punt for the Wolverines. And that's a look at Armando Allen, who's deep for the Irish.
The Irish had to call timeout because they weren't sure how many. They didn't have the right punt return team on.
And Allen was late coming on the field for his part. So Charlie Weiss not happy about that. Is happy about the score. Irish leading Michigan 14-0, having to take a timeout to get the correct punt return team on. Now they're ready, and Mesko ready to punt it for the Wolverines. He's going to keep it. Keep it. Mesko has a first down. Still on his feet and out of bounds around the 40-yard line of Notre Dame. Chased out by Cal McCarthy, but 14 yards. Mesko the punter with the trick play from Coach Rod. And big first down for the Wolverines.
That's good scouting and then execution, right? You just don't make these things up. And while the Irish have had a couple big special teams plays on kickoffs, this was a lapse. And Mesko does a nice job. It was a perfect call, not afraid to call a perfect part of the field.
And a perfect time to call it, too, because it was obvious, because of the timeout, that Notre Dame was a little confused about who should be on the field.
Well, and they also needed a spark, right? The Wolverines really needed something positive to build on.
First down, Michigan at the Irish 41. McGuffey still on his feet, driving ahead, and then thrown back. Forward progress to about the 41 or 42-yard line. David Bruton, the man that finally put the hit on him. Then Maurice Crum came along to help.
Yeah, Sam McGuffey, you know, he's only 5'11", 185 pounds. Looks like he grew up eating airline food, but they think he is kind of their big play threat. They think he's a home run hitter from that tailback position. They call that position their super back.
Ran for over 5,800 yards in his high school career. And from Cypress, Texas. Fake it to him this time. Threet going deep down the sideline. And it is still waiting for the signal. Caught.
They said it hit the ground.
Hit the ground. Incomplete. Greg Matthews streaking down. He says challenge it,
He's
Coach
saying
Rod.
challenge it. That's the way they review every one, right?
And hit the ground.
Trapped, yeah. That ball was trapped.
Correct call.
Yeah, pretty good adjustment, though, nonetheless.
Took forever for them to make the call, but it was the right one.
Yeah, they got it right, though. Sense rushed it. Well, maybe, Tom, you see his right hand get underneath that? I mean, it's worthy of another look.
And Coach Rodriguez is contemplating the challenge, I think. They are looking at it, of course, in the replay booth.
Yeah. Well, it was just that last replay where I said maybe he got the right hand underneath it.
I think it hit, I don't know, I think it
does, but see his right hand?
It did get underneath it, but I think not until the point the nose of the football had hit the turf.
Well, remember, it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn it. It doesn't look like they're going to overturn that one. But
this is a Big East crew today. Michael Otulski and Robert Welsh are the replay officials.
You know, and good teamwork by the officials. You know, you see the side judge was waiting for the back judge really to help him out. No, they didn't rush it.
That's the referee, John McDade.
After review, the play on the field is confirmed. The ball hit the ground before being controlled by the receiver.
Okay, I can buy that.
Third down.
It's not going to overturn those, are they?
No, and I think it's correct. I think the nose of the football did hit.
It's one of those things, had they called it a catch, they probably wouldn't overturn that either. A big third down again for Stephen Threet.
Third down and 8. 5 wide receivers. McGuffey on a little screen pass.
Well, it's hard to get 8 yards on that, isn't it, Tom?
And defended by Maurice Crum.
Yeah, Maurice Crum really making some things happen from the middle of the linebacker, kind of roaming that middle, read it perfectly, saw the screen well. You tell he spent the week in the film room, can't you?
He was on the receiver, McGuffey, before anybody could block him.
Yeah. It looks like Coach Rod is thinking about going for it on 4th and 6. They're going to call timeout to think about it.
Timeout, Michigan facing a 4th down and 6 from the Notre Dame 37-yard line, trailing the Irish by 14. Fourth down and 6, and it appears Michigan will go for it at the Notre Dame 37-yard line.
I tell you, with his defense, I'd punt it and play good defense.
Stephen Threet steps up. His pass down the sideline and incomplete, intended for Odoms.
You see, Rich, that is not a high percentage pass on 4th and 6, Tom, right? I mean, to me, the strength of your team is your defense, your front seven. You put them in terrible field position already. Punt it and play great defense. And they had a little what they call a wheel route, kind of an out and up to Martavius Odoms, but he just wasn't open. And he's saying, hey, you gotta throw it accurately.
So the Irish take over on downs. They have put it into play at their own 37, already up 14. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. 2 Michigan turnovers leading to 2 Irish scores. Clausen, play action fake, going big on first down for Floyd. And the freshman has it batted away.
Great defensive play.
Donovan Ward, now a late flag. What a late flag comes down.
That is a really late flag by the field judge. I thought Donovan Warren had him covered pretty well. This is the play I think they wanted to open the game with.
Pass interference. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Charlie wanted to open the game with a long pass to one of his wide receivers, Michael Floyd. You be the judge. I think that's a good defensive play, Tom.
Might have raked his arm a little bit, but a tough call. Knocks the ball away in that shot, Donovan Warren.
But, you know, the official right on top of the play didn't call it.
Yeah. Everything going against the Wolverines early. Here's James Aldridge now in the Notre Dame backfield for the first time this season. A junior from St. Louis. First down after the interference penalty. Fake it. Clausen going to go downfield again. Deep for Tate. Golden Tate. Touchdown. Golden Tate with his second touchdown reception of the season. Jimmy Clausen twice aired it out downfield, got the interference call, and then got the touchdown. Walker's extra point attempt is good. Coach Weiss said score early.
He did, and often. Golden Tate right down here at the bottom of the screen. I tell you, it looks like a little slant and go. Starts with good protection. There's the slant. The safety comes up, and he just splits the cone coverage. And then a perfect throw by Clausen. I tell you, Charlie Weiss has found out that he's got some deep threats that he didn't really have a year ago, because Golden Tate, while he was here, he's just really becoming a wide receiver in Michael Floyd. And the offensive line, so criticized so often last year, giving up the 58 sacks. Terrific protection. Yateman up top. Number 55, Eric Olsen, Wanger, Stewart, Robinson, a whole bunch of guys making their way and giving Jimmy Clausen plenty of time to find the streaking Golden Tate.
And what about Mike Haywood's play calling?
Yeah, how about that? Second game of Mike Haywood's play calling, but you know, you sensed they felt they could hit some deep balls when we talked to Charlie Weiss yesterday. And you know, we saw a picture of Rich Rodriguez a few moments ago, Tom. He looks shocked.
Yeah. And the last time Notre Dame scored 3 touchdowns in a first quarter was in September 2004 against Washington. Here's Harrison returning the Burkhardt kick. And again, failing to get too much. He does cross the 25-yard line. Let's check in with Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Tom and Pat. Well, the energy down on the field is absolutely electric, kind of what you would expect out of this storied rivalry. The Notre Dame sideline is confident and has a casualness that I have never seen out of this team before. And after that last that touchdown pass that Jimmy Clausen threw, you could just see him almost become a leader in that moment as he went over and started high-fiving and hugging his players. Pat and Tom?
All right, Alex. And one of the things Coach Weiss was looking for from his team was more emotion. Didn't see much of it the first 3 quarters last week, but you did in the fourth quarter when they pulled the game out, and here you are.
Like a direct snap.
And this is Carlos Brown who takes the direct snap. And Notre Dame was ready for it. Maurice Crum, again, spent some time in the film room, and he was ready for it. In fact, Coach Weiss said, we expect this early in the week.
Absolutely. This was not a surprise. Maurice Crum right here in the middle of your screen. And again, Carlos Brown played some high school quarterback. Charlie was talking about it in his press conference early this week. But, hey, Maurice Crum comes ready every week, right? He don't necessarily play great every week, but you know one thing about Maurice Crum, he's going to be prepared.
And he's going to be a leader on the field. Second down and 10. Threet's pass is deflected and knocked down by Brian Smith.
You know, some of these guys look like the 1988 championship team for the Holtz. I mean, they got some athletic guys out there, and Brian Smith is one of those, forcing another 3rd and long for the Wolverines. The blitz up the middle by Crum, and then the other linebacker, only playing 2 linebackers. One blitzed, one dropped back in coverage. Both had an effect on the play.
3rd down and 10 from the Wolverine 25. Street hit as he delivered it.
Oh, good
Diving
catch.
attempt made, and it's good by Greg Matthews. Matthews able to pick it off the turf for a key third down conversion. Street hit him for 16.
You know, you say just 16 yards, but I'll tell you, this was magical because Street had somebody in his face. And then Greg Matthews, whom they want to become their go-to guy, got his arm underneath it. Terrific catch by Greg Matthews.
Being covered by the freshman Robert Blanton on the play.
And a very important play there for the Wolverines.
Brandon Minor broke a tackle for the moment, reaches midfield about a yard short of the first down. 9-yard gain. Maurice Crum had him by the shoe tops.
Talking to Calvin McGee, the offensive coordinator, about Brandon Minor this week, and he was saying, even though he got just one carry last week, it was for 15 yards and a touchdown, but he said he's our best blocker in the backfield, picking up the blitz. And with John Tenuta's defense at Notre Dame now, they blitz 75% of the time.
Minor with 623 yards in his career coming into the day. Swing pass to Odoms, and Odoms will be wrestled down by David Bruton after picking up another Michigan first down, and the Michigan offense starting to click a little bit now.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a triple option, really. He can run it, the quarterback can run it, or he can throw that little bubble screen to Odoms. And that's a nice read by Stephen Threet, and that's what they're asking from their slot back. There's Calvin McGee, the great Southern tight end, Southern University, and their offensive coordinator now.
Popcorn box next to him. Probably didn't taste so good right about now.
You always notice the food, don't you, Tom? You always seem to notice the food.
36-yard line blitz. And it blows up the play.
David Bruton
came on a safety blitz. Brandon Minor barely got the handoff from Threet before he was hit by Bruton.
How many tackles do you think Bruton has already?
Half dozen, I'd say.
More than that, 7.
Wow.
Gets it on special teams. Remember, he started this game on special teams, getting down there, creating some havoc in special teams. Good blitzer, good tackler, good cover guy. Their best player on defense is number 27, David Bruton.
Loss of 4 on that last play. Screen pass to McGuffey. Gets a couple of blocks. Now a cutback, and he's got blockers in front. Bounces off his own man. McGuffey for the touchdown. Yards on the screen pass to Sam McGuffey.
I'll tell you, good drive for the Wolverines to come back. Nothing real fancy except good downfield blocking and then great vision by the YouTube wonder Sam McGuffey. Freshman out of Texas. Everybody said he is our home run hitter, and you saw some of that right there.
First receiving touchdown in his career. He has scored a rushing touchdown.
Boy, did the Wolverines need a lift, and a freshman gave it to him.
Absolutely. Lopata will attempt the extra point. And KC puts it through the uprights. So a sigh of relief for Rich Rodriguez and the Wolverine fans as they finally get their offense moving. And McGuffey with a 40-yard reception from Threet for the Michigan score.
Okay, he's down. Let's see. There's McGuffey. Got it. There you go. Okay. Man in motion. McGuffey. And watch the blocks downfield. 1, 2. Then he picks up one on the other side, bounces off his own guy, and weaves his way into the end zone. So some good early blocks, and then the last 25, 30 yards is all Sam McGuffey.
I think that was Perry Dorstein that deflected him a little bit. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that he had such a great career at Cy-Fair High School. He's from Texas, and here's what's gotten him a claim, though. Watch this move. High school.
Incredible.
Whoa, he looks
hello.
looked like Dayron Robles, the Olympic hurdler. And watch this. This is even more amazing.
It's amazing. What do you think Fielding Yost would think about that? Yeah, he can play for Fielding Yost.
Team,
yeah, right. He can play for Fielding Yost. That YouTube site, he got 2 million visits over the last few months.
That's what he did in high school. Look at that. Nearly 6,000 yards and 83 touchdowns. So Brian Wright will kick off for Michigan after the Wolverines get on the scoreboard just under 2 minutes.
And the Wolverines need a special teams play, just like Notre Dame's had a couple of them.
Tate and Allen are deep as the kick is squibbed. Tough hop, but picked up by Golden Tate. Tate has some room up the middle. Caught and knocked down After the return, it was Troy Woolfolk on special teams for the Wolverines.
Well, Golden Tate was saying to us yesterday when we talked to him, every Friday night he goes to YouTube and types in Rocket Ismail's kickoff returns. And he's been doing this for 2 years, and he watches Rocket's kickoff returns. Remember, Rocket returned 2 of them against Michigan for touchdowns a number of years ago. And that kind of sets the stage for him the next day.
He paid special attention to those this week.
Yeah.
There's Michigan returns by the Rockets. Clausen setting up a screen. Whoa, a lot of traffic in there, and able to catch it was Robert Hughes, but nothing doing. Michigan all over it. And by the way, we haven't had our Adidas starting lineups for the Irish.
Scored quickly.
We've seen a lot of these guys already in and out of there.
Michael Floyd off to a great start in his career.
They're the offensive linemen, so much maligned over the past 2 seasons, but doing a pretty good job here with Trevor Robinson getting the start today with Chris Stewart injured.
Two true freshmen, Michael Floyd and in the right guard, Trevor Robinson, starting for Charlie Weiss today.
Yateman in motion. Second down and long. Clausen delivers to Tate. Fumble the ball.
Got it back.
He just scooped it back up.
I tell you, that's twice the Irish have fumbled and recovered.
He should be a shortstop with hands like that.
He's a center fielder on the baseball team, but not a shortstop. Remember, Jimmy Clausen fumbled earlier and recovered it. Golden Tate dropped this one. Good tackle by Warren. And heads up. Golden Tate picks that one up. Second good bounce to Golden Tate. He had one on the kickoff and then one right there.
Brendan Harrison kind of kicked it back to him, or the Wolverines might have had him. 3rd down and 5. Clausen going deep down the sideline. Michael Floyd intercepted by Morgan Trent of Michigan.
You know, I don't think that's necessarily a bad decision by Jimmy Clausen. You're giving your receiver a chance, but sometimes the defenders are just better than you are, right, on that particular play. And Morgan Trent, who's had a really nice career for the Wolverines, on Michael Floyd, the freshman. And that's just as good as you can do it, Tom.
Yep.
Got his head turned around. Maybe, you know, Clausen throws it a little bit more down the field, but perfect cover, almost maybe offensive interference, but great play by Morgan Trent.
Trent, the 5th-year senior from San Diego, in his 25th straight start. Perfect coverage, and he picks it off. And the momentum now starting to swing in favor of Michigan with 14 seconds left in the opening quarter. See if Michigan's offense can take advantage of the turnover, as Notre Dame's did on 2 occasions. McGuffey with some room, using his blockers. He's down the sideline. Bruton to beat, and Bruton knocks him out of bounds.
And what a nice block he got from his fullback, Kevin Grady.
There's a late flag on this one, too. A late flag after the 28-yard gallop by Sam McGuffey.
It's amazing to me, Tom. You know, Sam McGuffey came as a freshman. But
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 95 defense.
They called that on Ian Williams. There was
down.
a lot of veteran offensive backs at Michigan, and yet the moment Sam McGuffey came in, they said, hey, he's our guy, because he's a home run hitter. Some good blocking in the offensive line by Dorstein and, as I said, Kevin Grady. Well, that didn't look like a late hit to me, but did you think that, Tom? It's not there.
Well, they didn't call it on Bruton. They called it, there it was.
Yeah, that's right. I called it Ian Williams.
Ian Williams,
right.
there's.
Exactly. Yeah, they ended the first quarter.
And Michigan has regathered themselves after finding themselves down big early. They are coming back, and they've recaptured the momentum at the end of the first quarter. 21-7 Irish. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. Notre Dame football presented by Coke Zero.
Commencing pre-flight fueling. Prepare for launch in 2, 1.
Knight Rider premieres Wednesday, September 24th on NBC.
Don't forget, Notre Dame Saturday kicks off a half hour before every game with the Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff with Paula Ferris and John Walters. We'll hear from both coaches, see the highlights of the Notre Dame Friday night pep rally. Today's guests included Lou Holtz and Tim Brown. So for the full Notre Dame football experience, be sure not to miss the Vonage Notre Dame Countdown to Kickoff at NBCSports.com.
Boy, was Tim Brown a great player here? Oh, my goodness. Last Heisman Trophy winner.
Michigan dominating the first quarter statistically, but 2 early Michigan fumbles leading to 2 Notre Dame touchdowns. And here's
that's a loss.
Odom's loss on the play. That was ugly.
Yeah, you got to take some shots downfield. They've taken one to be able to set up those bubble screens. And I tell you, the corner, I couldn't say. I think it was Rayshawn McNeil came off the top. No, it was Lambert, right? It was Lambert.
Yeah, Lambert.
Terrell Lambert just fought off his block.
Stayed after him, lost his helmet.
Guess
and there's Maurice Crum. And then Brian Smith was there, too.
They're only playing 2 linebackers inside, but boy, those 2 guys are playing well.
Second down, 19. Threet has gone all the way at quarterback. He hands to McGuffey, and McGuffey breaks free again.
He's kind of a fun guy to watch, isn't he?
McNeil forces him out of bounds. He's closing in on 100 yards here in the first half. Got 40 yards through the air.
You know what, Tom? It surprises me how strong a runner he is. You know, as I said, he's only 185 pounds, but he breaks a lot of tackles.
Closing in on 100 all-purpose yards here in the first quarter of play, and he's set up a 3rd and 9 for his Wolverines. Miners in the game now, along with McGuffey. Threet pumps one way, looks the other way, then scrambles free. Stephen Threet hit and driven out of bounds just short of the 5-yard line by David Bruton. A 23-yard scramble by Threet for the Michigan first down.
Tom, so much of playing quarterback is making good decisions, and Stephen Threet made the right decision. I mean, double coverage, you see the Red Sea party there, right? And Stephen Threet, who doesn't remind, Pat White, but still got an awful lot out of that play. But it started with a great decision by Stephen Threet.
Threet started one game for the Wolverines. Nick Sheridan started the other, but it's been Threet all the way, and he got him a big conversion there. Looks to the sideline where the play has changed. The Wolverines trying to take advantage of the Irish turnover, the interception. Threet, handoff, McGuffey. McGuffey met and driven back.
Not this time, my friend, says Ian Williams. Nose tackle. He lists his hobbies, by the way, Ian Williams, as one of his hobbies is napping.
Wow. What's wrong with that?
Well, as long as you don't do it in defensive line meetings, you can nap anytime you want, the coaches say, but not during meeting time.
Sam McGuffey, look at that. 67 yards just into the second quarter. Fake, and then Threet rolling off his back foot. Dangerous throw. Got away with it.
That is a dangerous throw.
Intended for Butler, the tight end.
Yeah, Justin Brown has had a nice first half, I think, for the Irish, number 94. Once again, gives some pressure, a little play action fake. He didn't fool Scott Smith, number 41. If he could have gotten his feet underneath him, he might have had a touchdown, but Scott Smith put a lot of pressure on him.
And he just threw it up for grabs. Luckily for Stephen, it fell incomplete, setting up a 3rd down at the 6. 3rd and goal, 6-yard line. Threet. Pass is complete to Babb. Zion Babb with his first reception of the season, but Rayshawn McNeil wrapped him up immediately.
Tom, it's just hard to get that ball in the end zone. You're just, when it's 3rd and 8, you're saying, hey, my guy is going to break a tackle. But this Irish defense, as we saw last week, particularly the defensive backs, we saw it from Kyle McCarthy last week, and then Rayshawn McNeil right there.
So Casey Lapata will attempt the field goal. He's hit 2 of 3 this season. This will be a 23-yarder. Lapata's boot is dead center. So Michigan gets the turnover on the interception, converted into 3 points. It's 21-10. Notre Dame football is brought to you by your local authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. By G2, the new low-calorie hydrator from Gatorade. By Michelin, a better way forward. And by Warner Brothers' new motion picture, Body of Lies, in theaters everywhere, Friday, October 10th. 21-10, Notre Dame's lead over Michigan early in the second quarter. Jimmy Clausen about to take the field again.
Half of his completions thus far have been for touchdowns.
What percentage is that?
About 50. That's 53 maybe in Kentucky.
Here's Brian Wright ready to kick off to Golden Tate and Armando Allen. Allen fields it, and then his momentum carries him out of bounds at the 14-yard line. So Notre Dame backed up here. Well, you know that Coach Charlie Weiss was saying he didn't talk about the first 3 quarters where they sputtered against San Diego State, only on the 4th quarter where they played well to pull the game out. He was hoping that play in the 4th quarter, that momentum, would carry over to today's game. And here's what they did in the first quarter.
3 touchdowns, and the defense had 2 fumble recoveries, so he wanted to build on that 4th quarter, and indeed they did in the first.
But now, though, you see the momentum edging toward the Wolverines a little bit as Notre Dame is backed up from the 13. Armando Allen, short gain.
Armando Allen last week really kind of emerged as that all-purpose guy. You know, nice game in 3 different phases. Special teams, returns in his receiver, 158 total yards for Armando.
He did lead the team in all-purpose yards last season.
Yeah, over 1,000. Too many of those were on kickoff returns, though, right? You don't want that.
Second down and 8.
2 speedy receivers on the outside, and then David Grimes, their slot receiver.
Michigan showing blitz. Clausen with the pass to Tate, who shakes one man. Still not caught. Tripped him up a little bit, but couldn't get him down, and finally caught at the 25-yard line. Golden Tate.
Well, the transition to wide receiver is over. High school running back. And they were expecting or hoping for plays last year like this from Golden Tate, but he was much more limited, right, Tom, than he is this year's a wide receiver. The whole package is there.
This one for 60 yards, most of it after the catch.
Yeah, good blitz pickup by Armando Allen allowed Jimmy Clausen to find him. But look how strong he is, too. Told us yesterday in high school, ran a 10.800 meters, best time.
And that's a family name, Golden, as he has 3 receptions over 100 yards. Here's the screen pass to Floyd. Michael Floyd. Just short of the 15-yard line on the pass from Clausen, knocked out by Morgan Trent.
Well, you know, Charlie Weiss always says, hey, he's had the most improvement between game 1 and game 2. This looks like a completely different Irish team than we saw against the Aztecs of San Diego State last week. And I would say, Tom, in all 3 phases.
Absolutely. The offense clicking. The defense played pretty well last week. The offense looks like a completely different unit. 2nd and 1. Aldridge is the tailback, gets the handoff, and has the first down. James Aldridge getting the carry to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, you mentioned he didn't play last week. We just saw Allen and Robert Hughes, but James Aldridge is the 3rd piece of that terrific block by Asaph Schwab, the fullback. He's a big, powerful guy, 225 pounds, and they'll find a role for James Aldridge. In today's college game, you need more than one go-to guy.
Aldridge actually the top rusher for the Irish last year, 463 yards, and the number 2 rusher back in 06.
But didn't get in the end zone last year.
Here he is, tripped up just short of the end zone. Mark it at the 1-yard line. Morgan Trent upended him before he could reach the end zone.
Well, you got a nifty guy in Armando Allen, a versatile guy in Robert Hughes, and then you got a pounder in James Aldridge.
Aldridge doing the work and now goes out as Hughes comes in to replace him. 3 tight ends, Rudolph, Yateman, and Schmidt. Schwab the fullback. Fake to Hughes. Clausen throws it up for grabs.
It's got to be pass interference, too.
And there's the flag is down in the end zone. Yeah, Rudolph was the intended receiver.
Yeah, he pushed, so the defensive back pushed off.
It was Donovan Warren. But he's either got to take that sack or throw it into the stands.
You're right.
Pass interference. Number 6, defense.
Yeah, Donovan Warren,
The 2-yard line.
that was really kind of an easy call,
First
Tom.
down.
It was an easy call. He just gave him a two-handed push and knocked him about 3 yards.
Yep.
He caught the ball but was out of bounds anyway. So Donovan Warren whistled for the interference call in the end zone. Half the distance penalty. 1st and goal inside the 1. Hughes burrowing under the Wolverines. Still looking. Still no signal. Now they signal touchdown Irish. Robert Hughes with another touchdown run.
What a guy Robert Hughes. Just he lit up the room when he came in and talked to us yesterday.
What a smile this young man
just
has.
An infectious smile and awfully good player as well. Is that he's pretty versatile. Big guy at 237 pounds, but nifty too.
Give James Aldridge some credit, though. He got him down to that point. Then the interference call in the end zone, and then Hughes with the score. Now Brandon Walker with the extra point attempt, and he puts it through. Robert Hughes with another touchdown at the end of the Notre Dame drive. 28-10. Here's our Coke Zero scoring drive. Robert Hughes scored on that 6-play, 87-yard drive. The big play was the 60-yard pass from Clausen to Tate, and it's 28-10. Somebody said that the defenses would predominate in this game. I'm not naming any names, but somebody said that at the start of the broadcast.
Thanks, pal.
Short kick will go out of bounds.
How about the last drive, the Irish? Tom, you've always told me, the little things lead to big things. But watch the blitz pickup by Armando Allen. And what does that do? That allows Jimmy Clausen to get this pass off and allow Golden Tate to do his thing, which is a big thing.
60-yard thing.
Yeah. Powerful run by Golden Tate. And then the pass interference penalty. Gave them the 1st and goal, and guess who finished it off? The smiling Robert Hughes. At least he was smiling with us yesterday, but determined run there by Robert Hughes to get the ball in the end zone. A lot more emotion and enthusiasm on the sideline this week than we saw last.
But the kickoff goes out of bounds, so Michigan puts it in play at its own 40-yard line. Stephen Threet, still the quarterback. He's in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers. Pumps one way. Now goes down the sideline, and a diving catch made by Stoneham. Nice catch by Darryl Stoneham. It goes for 20 yards.
That was a tight throw by Threet, and he just kind of weaved it right in that, that cover 2 and back of the corner, front of the safety. And that is not a guy who was wide open, but Stephen Threet with a big arm. He's 6'6", 230 pounds.
From Adrian High School in Adrian, Michigan, about 45 minutes from Ann Arbor. Threet muscling that one out into the flat. Caught by Odoms and tackled by the shoe tops by Blanton.
You mentioned Adrian High School. You know who their valedictorian was, right?
Yeah, it was Stephen.
Stephen Threet, valedictorian at Adrian High School. Then actually went to, good little move here by Montavious Odoms. Went to Georgia Tech. Things didn't work out there. Transferred to Michigan.
Coaches that had recruited him left, and so his mom, Pam, had attended the University of Michigan. So here's a nice run by McGuffey. He's shown us several nice runs today. That one covers 7 yards.
Well, Threet was saying to us this week that this is not the first time he's been to Notre Dame Stadium. You see his GPA and such, very, very good student, remains one. But his parents were season ticket holders, brought him as a kid to a couple of Notre Dame Michigan games here.
He's rushed 12 times for 75 yards, has McGuffey, who carried that last one. And here he is again. No, actually, that's Grady. Kevin Grady, driven back. They stood him up at the line of scrimmage and drove him backwards. Maybe forward progress, give him a yard or two. Darius Fleming, freshman from Chicago, getting to play and getting in on a tackle. And our yellow first down line today brought to you by Xerox.
Yeah, they're really big gain last week. We talked about him. Is Sergio Brown. Sergio Brown.
Get off there.
There he is. He's gone. He's up there at the top. Blitzed about 6 or 7 times so far today. He's playing the slot receiver in the top of the screen.
Great's pass on target. Complete to Stoneham again. And Stoneham becoming an expert at going down off the turf to make those receptions. Got that one.
I'll tell you one thing. Calvin McGee said to us this week, he's the offensive coordinator. We talked about 22, Daryl Stoneham. He said, this guy is really fast. And, they had some fast guys at West Virginia. He said he's got to be a big play threat for us down the field.
First one from Stafford, Texas.
With a face mask.
McGuffey. And the penalty will be on Brian Smith for the face mask.
You get the feeling that Sam McGuffey could play in any offense, right? I know this is the spread.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 58 defense. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
They'll call that on Brian Smith, but Sam McGuffey has really found his way. And there's the easy call.
Pat Coons is out of the game for the Irish.
Ian Williams back in his place. And also Ethan Johnson, the freshman from Portland, Oregon.
Pat Coons nauseous on the sideline, we're told, so he's over there on the Irish bench. First and goal at the 8. McGuffey couldn't get a good block there, and Brian Smith able to collapse him short of the 5-yard line.
Yeah, one thing is we watch Sam McGuffey. Boy, he's got some good vision. Man, good lead block there by Kevin Grady. Otherwise, it would have been even more significant. Pat Kuntz on the sideline, who made a couple of real nice plays in the first half with a interesting haircut. Want to try that, Tom, sometime?
How do you know I haven't in the past?
You may have, yeah.
Second and goal from the 7. Blitz from the Irish. The handoff is to Grady, and the big man pounds his way into the end zone for the Michigan touchdown. Kevin Grady.
Well, Calvin McGee, the offensive coordinator, said to us, Kevin Grady is our most physical back. Would you disagree? Dare to disagree, Tom, with that run?
Not at all, as he carries tacklers with him 7 yards.
And he's made a couple of really nice blocks in the first half. And the guy he's carrying, Brian Smith, is 245 pounds. That is a strong, powerful run by Kevin Grady.
Lapata for the extra point.
What a fun game.
And it's good.
I guess the rest of your defensive coordinator.
Yeah, those defenses certainly are the best part of these two teams. Somebody
Just let it go, Tom. Let it go.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by Chase Freedom, introducing rewards points you can use like cash. Visit chase.com/freedom. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Alex Flanagan. So far the rain holding off at Notre Dame Stadium. And it's become a shootout. 28-17 with 5:41 left in the second quarter. Notre Dame leads Michigan. Brian Wright will kick off for the Wolverines. You're looking at Golden Tate, one of the deep man, along with Armando Allen for Notre Dame. Short kick, another hop taken by Tate. And upended at the 25-yard line as we check in with Alex.
Hey, Tom, you got to imagine that Charlie Weiss is happy with his offensive performance in the first half so far. I have not seen him smile yet, but did see him fire up his team, telling them, or reminding them rather, that this is a 60-minute game, telling them to go wire to wire, Tom.
Well, it makes sense because we've seen Michigan come up off the mat to make it a game here, 28-17.
Yeah, Notre Dame scored twice with great field position, right? Michigan really, for the most part, has had to earn their 17 points.
First down, I formation shown by the Irish. Aldrich is the tailback, and he gets the handoff. And he's out to the 29-yard line. As we check our Notre Dame ticker, presented by Coke Zero, with some other scores. What about Maryland? Lost to Middle Tennessee. Now they beat Cal.
Yeah, Cal was a pretty good football team, too. Surprising. Missouri's a good team as well. Nevada comes in here to South Bend next year.
Pac-10 taking a few lumps.
Yeah. Stanford, we're going to see them later in the year as well.
East Carolina, Skip Holtz's team tied once. And look at Georgia trailing South Carolina. And Purdue's beating Oregon. Crossing the 30-yard line, Aldridge. Tackled by John Thompson. It's going to bring up a third down at about 4 with 5 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, this is, you kind of feel this thing going either way, right? Jimmy Clausen, now's the time for Jimmy to kind of find his way to pick up those, 4 or 5 yards to get that first. He's got, Golden Tate and Michael Floyd outside. These are the kind of downs. So David Grimes in the slot. These are generally the slot receivers kinds of downs.
Grimes with some back injuries in practice this week. Didn't practice on Thursday. Makes that catch, though. But did not make the first down. Driven back. Good defense for the Wolverines, led by Morgan Trent and Brandon Harrison.
Great tackle by Brandon Harrison, who's played very, very well this season. Charlie, remember, he went for it a lot last year on 4th down, contemplating it again.
He is going to be less than a yard short of the first down marker.
The receivers got to get past the first down markers. On 3rd and 4, you can't run a 2-yard route.
And Eric Most is on to punt for the first time today. Warren is deep for the Wolverines.
And, 2 gunners from Notre Dame have had a big year thus far.
Most didn't hit it. Takes a good Irish bounce, however. Bruton will watch it and down it at about the 23-yard line. So Threet right back on the field for the Wolverines, trailing 28-17. Back at Notre Dame Stadium and on the Irish sideline, Charlie Weiss has had a support put on his leg, just being helped to his feet. He was rolled over on that last play. Puts the headset back on, but here's what happened.
There's not much number 90 in blue, John Ryan, left of the screen, right up here.
And Coach Weiss.
Yeah, Coach Weiss is right there.
Looking the other way.
Yeah. Oof. Ouch. Ouch. Joe Paterno got run over a couple of years ago. Remember, had to spend some time in the press box calling plays. But Charlie's going to stay right down there on the sideline.
So he stays on the sideline as Michigan puts it into play from the Wolverine 26-yard line. McGuffey using his blockers, cuts back. McGuffey evading another tackle and finally taken down at the first yard down marker by McCarthy and Bruton. And looks like he got enough for the first down right at that yellow line.
It's not Easter, but he runs like a little bit like a bunny rabbit, doesn't he? He's kind of hops around, breaks tackles. Elusive and surprisingly and deceptively strong. 128 yards today, and we have 3 minutes left to go in the first half.
2 most winningest teams in college football locked up here, Michigan and Notre Dame. The 2 best bands, the 2 best fight songs. You can go on and on. And a pretty good game as McGuffey tried to come back that time and was stopped as he tried to cut it back by Kuntz, who's back in the game.
One reason for
Justin Brown got a piece of the tackle too, as Coach Weiss
getting some support from his assistant coaches. Got a brace on his left leg.
There it is.
Boy. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, all those plays on the sideline.
2nd down and 10. Threet lost it and falls on it.
That happened to him last week. We were watching tape yesterday, right? Same thing happened to Stephen Threet last week and lost the handle. I don't know if it's raining just yet, but it just came right out of his hands.
Darius Fleming, the freshman linebacker, couldn't get it. And we're going to bring a cart for Coach Weiss. It's 3rd down and 18. Michigan has converted 3 of 6 third downs to 3 successful ones. 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10, and 3rd and 9. So they're used to this 3rd and long situation. This one the longest of them all. And Threet wings it down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Intended for Matthews, who was covered by McNeil. Good coverage by McNeil. Pass is incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, really good coverage by Rayshon McNeil. Remember, Rayshon McNeil gets his 2nd start because of the absence of Darren Walls, who left the program, at least temporarily. But Rayshon McNeil, who really getting his first opportunity as a starter, makes a terrific play.
Frank Matthews grabbed his face mask there at the end of it.
You're right.
Here's Mesko on to punt for the first time for Michigan. Remember, he lined up in punt formation earlier, but it was a fake, and he picked up a first down. And the punt will bounce in front of West, and he lets it roll down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. A 58-yard punt with no return. So Jimmy Clausen will come back out, and coming up at halftime, the Mercedes-Benz Notre Dame halftime show. Jimmy Roberts and Peter King in the New York studio with scores and highlights from college football's top 25. Bob Costas will sit down with NFL Hall of Famer Jim Brown to discuss the upcoming movie The Express, based on the life of running back Ernie Davis. And Peter will have the latest news from around the NFL. It's all coming up on the Mercedes-Benz Notre Dame halftime show. Coach Weiss has the crutches now. From the 14-yard line. Hughes, big hole. Gets a block downfield. And Robert Hughes crosses the 30, goes out of bounds after a gain of 18 yards, and a late flag comes down.
Big blocks by Chris Stewart and Sam Young on the right side, Tom. Boy, tremendous hole for Robert Hughes. Last week, they didn't get a lot of production out of the run game. Good block by Yateman, too. The tight end just kind of pushes his guy. But 74 Young, Chris Stewart, number 59, doing their thing on the right side.
Yeah, Yateman just cleared his man out to create that huge hole.
And Camara, too, downfield blocking well.
And then that last little shove draws a foul. It's on Morgan Trent.
And giving the Irish really some great field position with 1:34 left, too, right?
Yep, personal foul call puts the ball out to the 47-yard line of the Irish. Clausen in the shotgun. Allen in the backfield with him. Clausen, quick toss behind Yateman and incomplete, as we check in on the weather now with Alex.
Hey, Tom, well, rain certainly starting to come down here. Not hard, just kind of sprinkling. But both of these teams did practice in anticipation of the rain. They both practiced with wet balls this week, Tom.
All right, and Coach Weiss telling us that the wind is what disturbed him. Well, there's a look at the Doppler radar. It stayed to the north of us so far all day, but getting closer, as you see, and starting to encompass the south end area.
Did you ever do local weather?
I did.
You're good with the Doppler.
I was a good weatherman.
I bet. The Doppler.
Quick toss. Floyd.
Good tackle.
Freshman can't get away. That was a sure tackle by Trent.
Yeah. Well, you watch enough tape of Michigan defense, particularly Morgan Trent. He has been a very good tackler his entire career with the Wolverines. Freshman All-American a number of years ago and played well for the last 3.
Only a 1-yard gain as we come to the 1-minute mark. Third down and 9.
Well, Tate's been their big guy a lot so far today up at the top of the screen. The other freshman down the bottom, Michael Floyd.
2 deep threats, but they need only 9 to keep the sticks going. They're going to go deep for Floyd. Pushing and shoving and incomplete. There's a penalty marker down. I thought that Floyd might have been the one that pushed off.
I think if they're going to call it, they're going to call it on Floyd.
Pass interference, number 3, offense.
Yeah, these officials doing a nice job downfield on some of these calls, Tom, right?
That was on Floyd. Offensive pass interference.
Bavaria, an aggressive play calling game. First half by Mike Haywood, the new play caller for Notre Dame. You know, they had a plan and they are sticking to it. And, you know, I think, too, before the weather really gets dour, which it may, getting those, you know, your chances, your big shots in early is important.
Weather can get dour?
Well, I think so. Yeah. Bad? Bring the Doppler back.
Penalty declined with 42 seconds left in the first half. And Most to punt for the second time. Donovan Warren deep for the Wolverines, standing at his own 10. Better punt from Most this time. And Warren can't get him down. Bruton hopped on his back, then gets some help, and they finally get him down. And 30 seconds left in the half. Stay tuned for the Mercedes-Benz Notre Dame halftime show. Interested to hear Bob Costas talk with the great Jim Brown about another Syracuse running back, Ernie Davis, part of that movie The Express, and the life of Ernie Davis. And the rain pelting Notre Dame Stadium now. We've been lucky so far. The rain was practically flooding this area this morning. And then it slacked off. The field was covered until about 12:30, so the playing surface is good.
I don't think Charlie, I think he's waved off the cart. He seems like he wants to walk in, doesn't he?
And that'll bring the first half to a close. And let's go down to Alex.
Tom, Charlie's asking me, I don't want to knock you over here, if I'm going to ask about his athleticism, but seriously, what happened?
Well, what happened is one of my guys got run out of bounds onto the coach's area right there, and I was following the ball down the field because it was back behind me right there. There's nothing I could do, nothing they could do. I mean, you know.
What's hurt?
What's hurt is it's 28-17. Let's get inside and see if we can get some work done here at halftime here.
All right, we'll let you go do that.
Thank
you, Charlie.
All right, Alex, he's a gamer.
Boy.
Halftime here at Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish leading Michigan 28-17. Jimmy Robertson, Peter King in the New York studio. Halftime performances of the Notre Dame and Michigan bands at NBCSports.com. Now it's time for the Mercedes-Benz Notre Dame halftime show. For that, let's go to Jimmy Roberts.
How about Charlie Weiss? Thanks, Tom. Coming up on the Mercedes-Benz halftime show, we'll talk some NFL, week number 2, and some interesting games tomorrow, including a good rivalry game in the AFC North. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers visiting Cleveland to take on the Browns. Bob Costas will talk with one of the all-time greats, Jim Brown, about another Syracuse back who sadly never got to play in the NFL, Heisman Trophy winner Ernie Davis. Peter King, of course, will be along with the latest NFL news, including a very interesting game at the Meadowlands between the Pats and the Jets. And we'll update you on all of the key games in college football. All of that right after these messages from your local station.
This is an NBC News special report. Here is Lester Holt.
Good afternoon. Hurricane Ike has left parts of Texas underwater and millions without power. Ike came ashore as a Category 2 hurricane, slamming into Galveston, damaging buildings along the waterfront there, also causing substantial damage in Houston. A massive search and rescue operation is underway for residents who defied evacuation orders and are now calling for help. So far, there have been only a few reports of deaths or major injuries, but damage is extensive. Also today, another search has been going on as California crews pick through the tangled wreckage of a head-on collision between a commuter and freight train. At least 23 people were killed, 135 injured in that crash. Officials say the commuter train apparently failed to stop at a signal. For more on all this, go to MSNBC on cable and the internet. I'm Lester Holt, NBC News, New York. Now back to the game.
All right, Lester, some tragic news today, but here at Notre Dame, this rain is pelting down, as you see, 28-17 as we start the third quarter. And graphic evidence there of the rain. People brought their rain gear, of course. It held off for a while, but now coming down in earnest. And Alex will update us in a moment on the condition of Charlie Weiss, who was injured in that first half, rolled over as he had his back to a play, left the field on crutches, and she'll update us here in a moment. But first, Michigan will kick off Brian Wright to get the second half underway with Allen and Tate deep for Notre Dame.
And remember, Tom, at the top we said ball security. When you get real bad weather, hang on to that ball.
It'll be on the bounce. Picked up by Tate. Tate driven down and out of bounds at around the 30-yard line. And Alex, what about Coach Weiss?
Well, the update's not good, Tom and Pat. Charlie Weiss tore his ACL and his MCL ligaments when his player hit him there in the knee, although he seemed to be in pretty good spirits when I talked to him at the half. Meanwhile, Pat, Coach Rodriguez kind of said exactly what you just said, that ball security in this rain will be key in the second half.
You know, you can make up a deficit in weather like this with really good special teams. And again, for every punter, Tom, in this kind of weather, I'd come after every punter and try to block every punt.
Well, in the first half, as Robert Hughes gets the carry, in the first half, the two teams in their first 10 possessions did not have a punt, and then punted the last 3 for each team.
The protection on Jimmy Clausen really for 2 weeks have been terrific, right? This guy hit twice this year, has not been sacked. So the offensive line that were really embarrassed after what happened last year, and including Michigan, who he was sacked 8 times against Michigan, the offensive line has really responded in protecting their quarterback.
That was in that 38-0 pounding at the Big House. Michigan has won 2 in a row in the series. Here's Aldridge almost breaking away, but not quite. Spun down by Stevie Brown, or he was going to have a nice gain on the play. So Brown holding on to get the tackle.
First half stats, you see Michigan with a pretty good rushing day. And really, as you mentioned, look at that time of possession.
And that's way more than they have seen any time so far this season.
But remember, it was 2 special teams errors by the Wolverines that really set up 2 very short drives by Notre Dame to get them up, give them their first 2 touchdowns.
Coke 0 halftime stats. Now it's 3rd down and 7. Clausen in the shotgun. Chase from the pocket and throws it away.
Okay, that's how you avoid sacks, right? We were talking to Jimmy Clausen a couple weeks ago, and he said, some of those sacks last year were my fault. I didn't really understand the protections, and I was unsure of myself. But this is just a heads-up play. Throw it away, punt it, and play defense. And I was saying in this weather, though, if I were a coach, special teams coach, I'd go after the punter every time, because you just don't know in this kind of weather what kind of snap you're going to get, whether the punter's going to bobble it.
There's Eric Most in punt formation. Warren, the deep man for the Wolverines.
Warren, deep.
Most boots it. Got it away, and a good one. Warren fumbled it. Ball's loose. There's the ball security you mentioned. And the officials trying to see who has it. And it's probably changed hands 2 or 3 times in that big pileup.
Alex Flanagan was just telling us that Rich Rodriguez at halftime, he said the number one thing this second half, ball security.
Still waiting. Michigan football. Michigan got it back.
Right through the old red basket. There's number 37, Mike Anello. Just assume Mike Anello is going to be down there first every time, right? And then I think it was it 29, Troy Wolfuck, who made the recovery. Good hustle and strong play in the bottom of that pile by number 29, Wolfuck.
So 51-yard punt and then fumbled, but recovered by the Wolverines. They put it into play at their own 10. Stephen Threets went all the way at quarterback. Hands to McGuffey. McGuffey working on a first-class game today, stopped by Justin Brown.
First class is absolutely right. I mean, he's done it in the running game. He's done it in the receiving game. He actually picked up a couple blitzes as well in the first half. And if the Wolverines are going to come back, that guy is going to feature very, very prominently for the Wolverines.
2nd down and 7. Blitz coming. And a run right where the blitz came from by McGuffey.
Yeah, and what does that mean? Great read by Stephen Threet. He saw the blitz, and again, every run by the Michigan team is a read option. So he sees that blitz, does Stephen Threet, says, hey, I'm going to give it to my talented tailback McGuffey. They're super back. That's the name of the position. He's played super this game. But, this is an unusual offense, and every play as a quarterback, you're graded, including on the runs, because you're making a read every run.
Bruton came on the blitz. They burned him. 17 carries, 104 yards now for McGuffey. Here he is again. Stop, start, pick up a good 5 yards.
McGuffey, as we watch him, he's certainly good in the open field. We've seen that. But even in traffic, you see the way he kind of put both hands around that ball? Knows the kind of sloppy conditions that they're playing in, and it's a heads-up play by Sam McGuffey.
Now an official's timeout. Maurice Crum, a little shaken up. That would be bad news for the Irish.
Yeah, they're one of their real leaders on defense. Captain, already graduated.
He's in some obvious pain. His leg collapsing as he reaches the sideline. Replaced by Steve Quinn.
Lower left of the screen right there. Oops, I got the wrong guy. Number 40, though, excuse me. Number 40 just gets caught up in a pile.
Greet hands off to Grady. Kevin Grady stopped for a loss on the play. Good defense that time as the Notre Dame front got some penetration. Kerry Neal makes the tackle, help from Ethan Johnson.
Ethan Johnson, we mentioned him earlier in the first half, freshman from Portland, Oregon, and Charlie Weiss is really high on him and said, if you have speed as a defensive lineman, you will play as a freshman. It's not as complicated as playing the offensive line or quarterback, but Ethan Johnson for the second week in a row playing.
3rd down and 6 on this no-huddle spread offense. Still plenty of time to look to the sideline to see if they want to change. They do not. 3 looks right, goes left, dropped by Greg Matthews.
Just kind of a very, very wet football. And it came out of Stephen Threet's hand kind of funny. And then as your receiver, you ordinarily you catch these with your hands, right, Tom? But when it's like this, you try to use your body a little bit more, and that gives you a little bit more time for the defensive back to strip it.
McNeil did strip it, and then Threet takes a hit.
Looked like he took a hit, just kind of locked up.
He did. He kind of didn't. He wasn't hit. It just like maybe slipped on that wet turf or something happened. George West and Armando Allen, 2 deep men for the Mesco punt. West takes it over his shoulder and goes nowhere. 50-yard punt with no return. The Irish offense will come back out, clinging to a 28-17 lead. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories. By Allstate, proud sponsor of Notre Dame football. Are you in good hands? By Vonage, call or go online now. And by Xerox Color, it makes business sense. Irish ball at their own 18-yard line and a handoff to Robert Hughes. Stopped by John Thompson as Stephen Threet, the quarterback, took a funny step after the last pass. We thought he was hit, but as we saw the replay, was not. So that means that the backup quarterback, who's also started a game, Nick Sheridan, they actually are co-starters, I guess you could say, each starting one game coming into today. And we were told by the coaches we would see them both regardless.
20 on Saturday afternoon, you see 20-year-olds with hard lines on phones, right?
2nd down and 10. Clausen in the pocket. His pass is caught by Tate.
That was pretty good coverage, but again.
Strong hands by Golden Tate. It covers 11 yards. That's an Irish first down. Donovan Warren had good coverage.
Yeah, you're right. And you mentioned the strong hands. Remember that once he bobbled and fumbled, actually got the strong hands back a little bit earlier in the game. This time, again, it's a wet football in the air, but he really gathered it with those 2 hands.
4 receptions, 127 yards now for Golden.
2 straight games. He's had a long touchdown catch. Remember last year, the longest touchdown reception by a wide receiver for Notre Dame was only 25 yards. Golden Tate's beaten that in both weeks this year.
Spot the ball at the 29. First down for the Irish. See some other scores go by. Here's Hughes. Hughes makes a nice run out of it. They'll mark him down at about the 36-yard line, it looks like.
And good blocks on the left side that time. Mike Turkovich, number 77, the center. Dan Wenger doing a great job. Michael Floyd. How about the play calling, though, by Mike Haywood? Charlie Weiss, as we said last week, turned it over to the new offensive coordinator, Mike Haywood, and Mike has really called a good game. But more importantly, they set up a game plan during the week that they felt they could hit him with some long passes, and indeed they have.
2nd down and 3. Again, it's Robert Hughes bouncing to the outside, cutting up with a first down, and has his feet cut out from under him at midfield by Morgan Trent. A gain of 13 yards, just shy of midfield. First down, Notre Dame.
Robert Hughes with a big personality and an equally big body.
And a big stiff arm there on Eze.
I said he looks like a in-shape Jerome Bettis. Remember I said that last night in the meeting?
You better be glad Jerome didn't hear that.
Yeah, I know. But because he's a big guy, but with those really light feet. Empty backfield here. We haven't seen this yet today.
And shotgun for Clausen. There's the running back distribution today. 5 wide receiver formation, 3 to the top. Quick toss through the hands of Kyle Rudolph, the tight end. Right through the freshman's hand.
And he's got some very large hands, too.
Yeah.
I mean, a great high school basketball player. And it's hard on pass rushers, too, you know, in these wet conditions.
Sure. So now 2nd down and 10, and they line up in the I formation with Schrupp, the fullback, and Hughes, the tailback. Blitz comes from Michigan. Hand it to Hughes. Hughes cannot get outside that time. Dragged down for a loss by Brandon Graham. Graham and Jamison, they're 2 excellent defensive ends. We haven't heard much from them today.
No, you're absolutely right.
Today's first down line brought to you by Xerox.
You mentioned Brandon Graham, number 55 on defense. One of those 2 defensive ends last year against Notre Dame. He was in Jimmy Clausen's face, had 3.5 sacks against Jimmy Clausen, but we haven't seen anywhere near Clausen this game.
In the rain, Clausen facing now 3rd down and 11.
I'm willing to bet, you know, he grew up in Southern California. He has never played in weather like this.
Robbie Paris comes in at wide receiver, first time today. Clausen chased from the pocket, and he just throws it away onto the sideline, avoiding the sack.
Yeah, the coaches
outside of the tackle box, he was able to do that.
Well, Michigan coaches believe it was intentional grounding, but that ball nearly get back to the line of scrimmage. That's what he needs to do, right?
Yep, out of the tackle box. Throw has to reach the line of scrimmage or
in that very close, right? Okay, we talk about ball security. You worry if you're a head coach. You worry about center snaps. You worry about your punter catching the ball.
And you're worried about Warren, who fumbled the last punt.
Yeah.
He's still back there as Most gets set to boot it his way.
And I'm willing to bet you a Diet Coke that Mike Anello is down there making a tackle.
Bounced it. Most picked it up and sails it downfield. And it will hit in the end zone for the touchback. Well, the snap bounced to Most, but he fielded it with sure hands. Touchback from the 20. Wolverines when we come back. Lined up in the shotgun. First down Wolverines after the touchback from the 20. McGuffey. Hold closes on him that time and stopped for a loss of a yard as we check in with Alex.
Hey, Thomas, Stephen Threet just getting stretched out on the sideline before he came in. At one point, an assistant came over to him, asked him if he was okay. He looked at him and said, I am fine. I am fine. Do not take me out. A friendly reminder that this quarterback situation is still very much a competition here, Tom.
All right, so Threet remains out there in the driving rain. There's Nick Sheridan, the backup. 2nd down and 11. Threet goes to the right to Matthews. He looked right and then goes left to Matthews, who's twisted to the turf by Steve Quinn. Quinn has come in to replace Maurice Crum. He's a 6'2", 225-pound senior from Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Yeah, good ball security this time by Greg Matthews, and you see still Stephen Threet kind of limping around.
He's not right.
And remember, this quarterback is required to run the ball some, too. It certainly doesn't look like he's capable of running it.
3rd down, and he's going deep. Threet down the field, and it's caught by Odoms. He's down, but a big play for 33 yards.
Hey, Tom, you know, under these conditions, I mean, it is really coming down. It is really, you got an injured knee or leg, and you're still hanging there in the face of a blitz, although we got good protection, and give your wide receiver Odoms a chance on a perfect throw against Sergio Brown, who was big last week for the Irish. That's pretty good.
Knee ruled down, so it's spotted at the 39-yard line. First down for the Wolverines, who go back to McGuffey. And McGuffey breaks free.
Oh, boy.
Down awkwardly. Kyle McCarthy had a hold of him.
He's Gumby.
He bounces right back up. 14 yards.
No, you or I did that. We would have 2 pulled hamstrings and other things as well. But this guy is nimble. He is flexible. He just keeps breaking tackles. He's out now, though.
He's replaced by Kevin Grady. And Michael Shaw is in, too, in the backfield. Threet changing the play. Still plenty of time on the play clock. Hand it off to Shaw. Shaw gets 4 yards before Pat Coons takes him down.
Michael Shaw wearing Mike Hart's old number from a year ago. And the thing about Rich Rodriguez, he loses the leading rusher of all time in Michigan history, their leading passer of all time in Henne, and the #1 draft pick in Jake Long. And he's still marching up a pretty good effort here against Notre Dame.
Threet back to Shaw. Hit once and then taken down.
Ball come out? Or he just kind of...
I think he was just a little second effort.
Good.
Michael Shaw stopped.
The thing about Rich Rodriguez, he says, hey, change of offense. He was going to have to rebuild anyway. You know, they lose Jake Long, the #1 draft pick. Chad Henne, their all-time leading passer. Manningham, one of the great receivers. And Mike Hart, the heart and soul of their team a year ago.
McGuffey back on. 3rd down and 6. Threet lines up, wings to the end zone, and flag down as Odoms was the intended receiver.
You know, not a bad strategy in this kind of weather. You throw the ball up, and if your guy doesn't get it, maybe get the pass interference. I mean, guys are slipping and sliding.
Number 31 defense.
Yeah, Stephen Threet has really managed this game well, and Charlie Weiss, who's got to be in a lot of pain. Yeah, that's an easy call. Underthrown deep ball. How many times do you see a pass interference?
All the time, right? As the receiver comes back for it and collides with the defensive back, Sergio Brown in this case. Weiss continues to suffer on the sideline in more ways than one as the Wolverines close in on the Irish here.
Well, maybe Charlie's protege, Tom Brady, and he can kind of rehab together.
Gosh. Huh? They've been texting each other all week since Brady was injured. 1st and goal now from the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Wolverines. McGuffey. Nice play that time made by McCarthy. Kyle McCarthy driving him out of bounds.
Yeah, really the hero of last week's game, Kyle McCarthy. 14 stops, 10 of them solo, and perhaps the defining moment early of the season, forcing a fumble down by the goal line. Remember that last week? He is just a sure tackler, is Kyle McCarthy.
Came off a block to do that, too. That's what he did last week. And came off a block to make that stop of McGuffey. 2nd down and goal from the 5. Threet made the handoff. Can't get him down. Grady fumble. Still loose. And the Irish have it. Brown falls on it. Sergio Brown recovers the fumble. In that case, Grady's extra effort trying to get the extra yards result in the Michigan turnover.
You know, you just can't fault the effort of Kevin Grady. But again, Tom, in these conditions, and I don't think at home you can really see how hard it's raining, but it really is. And it was Brian Smith maybe who stripped it. And then
3rd lost fumble by the Wolverines. In the heavy rain, 5 Michigan fumbles now. They've lost 3 of them. Charlie Weiss injured, torn ACL and MCL. Watches from the sideline. After the turnover, the Irish take over at their own 7. Robert Hughes gets the call. Backtracks to try to get to the outside and then tackled by Eze. And the Irish forcing the turnover.
2 familiar numbers. Number 27, Bruton there, along with 28, Kyle McCarthy. And remember last week how those guys really came up with a big turnover against San Diego State as well. And also Sergio Brown, who played so well. Here's the play last week.
This
McCarthy.
Is the Aztecs were about to go up 2 touchdowns, and Sullivan stripped by McCarthy and Bruton. The Irish recovered, went on to win the game. So similarities there as the draw play handoff goes to Robert Hughes, stopped about a yard short of the 1st down.
Yeah, I noticed Jimmy Clausen put gloves on. You know, we said he probably hadn't played in weather like this going up in Southern California. And again, Mike Haywood, the offensive coordinator, calling on his 2 big backs, Robert Hughes and sometimes James Aldrich in this poor weather to kind of pound it out.
Is that sort of a paid advertisement?
What's that?
Did play in this kind of weather in sunny Southern California?
Yeah, it is. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce. It's here locally for the weekend.
3rd down and a yard. Run blitz comes from Michigan, and Hughes spins his way to a first down.
I tell you, every now and then you just really need to just pull your way through it for a first down, and Robert Hughes did right there. 237 pounds. First, good vision, the early contact, the spin, and then he breaks through the tackle of Stevie Brown, the free safety. Really nifty guy, 237 pounds, those real light feet, twisting, turning, picking up the first.
He's at the sideline now, replaced by Allen. First down from the 18-yard line. Shotgun, Clausen. Hand it off to Allen. Mondo with some fresh legs, but only able to get a yard against the Michigan front. Look at the rain. We expected it, actually, and it held off for a while. That's when all the points were scored. Since the rain started, we've had a punt fest. Band, they got the rain gear on. Second down and 8. Hughes. Nothing doing. Back to the line of scrimmage, nothing more. In fact, didn't make the line of scrimmage. Lost about a yard. Brandon Harrison.
They say the ball came out.
And Michigan is saying so, but I think the officials say Notre Dame.
Down, yep. But I promise you, this kind of weather, if you're a defensive lineman, if you're a defensive coordinator, Scott Schaefer, you're saying, hey, strip the ball carrier. Get your hands in there, try to rip it out. Oh, boy, he take a helmet-to-helmet shot there. He's down, then the ball comes out. Important down for Michigan's defense.
30 seconds left in the third quarter. Clausen, undecided about what to do with it. Being chased, finally lets it go, and it's incomplete. Intended for Paris. So a punting situation for the Irish with 12 seconds left in the quarter.
It is really coming down. If you're Rich Rodriguez, I say really come after the punter, right? You just don't know about the snap. The last one was low.
So Eric Most standing at his own 5-yard line. Donovan Warren awaiting the punt. Most. They come after it, and they got a piece of it.
Yep. Yeah, I think you have to do that. You know, you have, and I'd rush every punter this kind of weather.
And he goes out of bounds at about the 48 of Michigan, where they'll take over when we come back.
Now what's wrong?
They printed these in color.
So?
She's gonna flip.
No, man, it's a Xerox work center. Prints color for pennies a page.
Color's good, presentation's good. I'm shocked.
Glad you like it, sir. You are shocked? Really? Because we're shocked. Shocked you even get it, pal. Dave, what are you doing here?
Came to fix the mute button.
Bye-bye bonus.
Ready to start the fourth quarter. The Leprechaun getting the crowd fired up in the rain. The players were helping too. Second down and 11 for Michigan on the first play of the fourth quarter. Fumbled football. Still loose and picked up. Brian Smith for the touchdown. Brian Smith returns it for the touchdown. The 6th Michigan fumble of the day and the 4th one they have lost.
You know, Tom, you practice, you know, you always have those wet football drills every week, but I don't think you can replicate this, what they're getting now. I said at the very top of our broadcast, ball security was going to be important, and it has been. And Brian Smith returned an interception for a touchdown last year He returns a fumble for a touchdown this year.
The extra point is good by Brandon Walker. And the Irish have feasted on turnovers today. That hit Threet's foot.
Yeah, just never got the handle. Looks like he actually took his eye off it a little bit when the ball was being snapped back. But you see a pretty athletic inside linebacker, Brian Smith. I said, remember he had that big interception against Matt Ryan in Boston College last year. Returned it for 25 yards. And you know, this was a team that came into this game, I think, with some big question marks. But, boy, they have to feel a lot better about themselves after this performance.
And so did the Wolverines under Rich Rodriguez come in with some big question marks. And they don't feel quite as good after their numerous miscues today. They've shown signs of competence. And as the water gushes down the aisles here at Notre Dame Stadium, nobody seems to mind.
Where's the sump pump? You have a sump pump up here in the booth? In case we need one.
Fans are really revved up now. They've waited a long time to cheer this hard. Burkhart will boot it towards Sissoko and Harrison. Good kick picked up by Sissoko. Hard to change direction, and the ball loose again. Like Michigan might have gotten it back that time. They were certainly the first to fall on it.
You know who caused that fumble? Oh, number 37. Mike Anello caused that fumble. I'm telling you, I saw him. I watch him every time
he runs
down.
He's relentless.
Yeah.
Michigan recovers that. That's the 7th fumble by Michigan. Kevin Grady covered it that time for the Wolverines.
See number 37 right of the screen? Gets his helmet on the ball, comes right out. I mean, some guys, you know, you can't make the story's incredible. He's an absolute walk-on. He's a 5'9", 180-pound walk-on. And, boy, is he living the dream, as he told us yesterday.
He told us his class schedule yesterday, and he ticked off all these classes, finance classes, very impressive. And he said,
forgot.
Also guitar.
Yeah, 1-unit guitar class.
And I saw him as he was leaving, and he had a guitar, which was taller than he was in that case.
There's the schedule.
Borrowed it from a buddy.
Yeah.
And as Charlie Weiss said, it's worth repeating, we'll all be working for him someday.
You and I, too.
One can only hope. McGuffey. And we invite you to go to NBCSports.com immediately after the telecast for the Vonage postgame report. You'll see the live press conferences of Charlie Weiss and Rich Rodriguez. Also catch interviews, analysis, full game highlights, all at NBCSports.com.
Wait, you think the doctors are going to let him do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No need, is there?
I know he's going to want to. And we mentioned, Joe Paterno had something similar a few years ago and coached the next several weeks up from the press box.
From the 29-yard line, the Wolverines, 2nd down and 11. Threet has a man open and sails it past Odoms and incomplete.
You know, it's been weather, but it's been good play by the Irish. It's been great special teams play that set up the offense.
That ball kind of sailed on him coming out of his hand, football.
And even as big as Stephen Threet is, 6'6", 230, probably has really large, strong hands. It is hard to hang on to that football. Feels like it's let up a little bit now, Tom.
The rain has, the noise has not. Threet, I don't know if this is a quarterback draw design, but he costs him as he's upended by Kyle McCarthy.
Yeah, how about the two safeties? McCarthy, that's his 9th tackle. Bruton has 13 tackles, the two of them. The two safeties right here, number 28, McCarthy, 15 stops last week. That was his 9th tackle today. Talk about filling the hole, sure tackler.
Threet got 8 yards, but short of the first down.
He and Bruton have really, 22 tackles between them.
Mesco will punt. There's Allen. He's running with it. He faked one earlier. That's kind of that Australian rules run and punt. And he did a good one, too. At the 11-yard line, it goes out of bounds. Looking for a little hole to keep it maybe, but nothing there, so he booted it. Got a good punt out of it. 52 yards. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero. Real Coke taste and 0 calories. By Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? By new Gillette Body Wash. Unleash the power of your shower. And by McDonald's. From soggy Notre Dame Stadium, Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Alex Flanagan. Irish take over after the good punt by Mesco at their own 11. And hand it to Robert Hughes. And you'll want to tune in to Saturday Night Live tonight for a very special host.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps, and yes, I'm hosting the season premiere of Saturday Night Live this week with musical guest Lil Wayne. Go Blue.
And a Go Blue shout out to the Wolverines. He trained in Ann Arbor, a good friend with Braylon Edwards, former Wolverine receiver who will be in action tomorrow night. And Michael Phelps hosting Saturday Night Live.
We had Michael Phelps weather about 10 minutes ago, didn't we?
Little hesitation move after he got the handoff by Hughes, and it gets him close to the first down.
I tell you, you're just eating up some clock. A big back like that can really eat clock trying to protect the lead. And remember, Charlie Weiss last week said, hey, I want to pound it. They didn't really pound it too well last week,
right.
But today, indeed, they have. 22 carries, rushes, 93 yards for the team. And Hughes has 14 for 64 and a couple of touchdowns. Very close to that first down.
So 3rd and 1.
A little confusion. It looks like Jimmy's going to call timeout.
So Clausen calls a timeout. Time of possession still in favor of the Wolverines, but oh, those fumbles. Irish with the lead. There are a few things worse than being soaking wet and down 35-17. Those guys don't care if they're wet.
No.
Four Michigan turnovers have led to 21 Irish points. And the one Notre Dame miscue only resulted in a field goal. 3rd down and 1. Clausen keeps. And it's going to be close. Yeah, maybe. Perhaps yes, he looks where they mark it. He did cross the yellow line. Now the football took back a little bit, so this is going to be close. See, one official had his foot marking forward progress, and then the other official just spotted the ball, moved it back a few inches.
I'm never sure exactly how they do that. Yeah,
they are. I mean,
they should be.
They're sure.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So the yellow line, of course, is not official. And the Michigan players are in the way, but it is a first down.
Okay. Jimmy Clausen making like Brady Quinn. Remember how Brady used to sneak for first downs 3 or 4 times?
Didn't we say he'd never been stopped?
Yeah, I don't think so. A nice surge there by Jimmy Clausen, who's really managing the game very, very well, Tom, I think. He's avoided a couple sacks. He's thrown the ball away when he's had to. A couple of touchdown passes.
You can see him growing into this job as Notre Dame quarterback, making progress with each start toward the end of last year and the first 2 games this year. Robert Hughes draws a crowd stacked up after a yard gain.
If you're going to be the quarterback at Notre Dame, you cannot be afraid of the stage, right? He knew exactly what he was getting into when he came here, and he wants it. He thrives under it. He was saying to us and said publicly before, hey, if you're the head coach or the quarterback at Notre Dame, you're going to be on the stage. Don't mind it.
Second down and 10 for the Irish. James Aldridge in the tailback spot. Hand the ball to Aldridge. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage. And Jimmy Clausen talked about being in the glare of Notre Dame quarterback.
It's good at times, bad at times, and but most of all, it's great being a quarterback in Notre Dame. Brady Quinn, Joe Montana, just following those names, it's it's pretty spectacular to see all those quarterbacks that have come through Notre Dame, and I'm the next one, I guess. So it's pretty special.
You forgot 2 other number 7s, John Ewart, who won a Heisman Trophy, and Joe Theismann, who had a pretty good career. They both wore his number.
Now he faces a 3rd down and 10. Quick toss. It's complete to Paris. And Robbie Paris with his first reception of the season, tackled by Morgan Trent.
Well, if Michigan's going to get back in this game, they're going to have to do something on special teams to give them a spark. Maybe another, punt block. It isn't raining as hard as it was earlier. Or a big return. Something to give their quarterback excellent field position.
Moss to punt. 9.5 minutes and counting.
They came after him. He got it off.
Got it off. Low line drive. Bouncing. Warren says stay away from it. It'll be down at the 30-yard line. 9:13 on the clock. 35-17 Irish. (35-17) in the rain at Notre Dame Stadium. Irish bidding to go 2-0.
To see Nick Sheridan at quarterback now for the Wolverines.
Nick Sheridan, who started game 1 against Utah, hit 62% of his passes, 138 yards, had a rushing TD and a passing TD, was picked off once from nearby Saline, Michigan. Faces a blitz first time out of the box and completes the pass to Odoms.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice start, right? You come out first play, you get blitz, but you read the blitz, throw the ball right to the receiver for a completion.
So 3-2 went all the way until now, signaling in from the sideline. Michigan State, the Irish opponent in East Lansing next week.
You see the state of the 2 programs. One team in flux at quarterback, right, with Michigan, and certainly Notre Dame kind of settled in with Jimmy Clausen.
And, of course, Rich Rodriguez has not had a chance to recruit an ideal quarterback for his spread offense yet, having just taken over at Michigan. And Sheridan going downfield. There's a flag down. Babb made a nice catch, and then the ball comes loose.
It's a fumble. Well, they said it's out.
You say he was out. There's a flag back upfield. 45 yards if it stands, as Sheridan airs it out.
How about Nick Sheridan coming in? Giving him a little lift. Started their first game. His father used to be an assistant.
His father was an assistant at Notre Dame and at Michigan.
Absolutely.
Now with the New York Giants.
We talked to him this week. Said his dad was coached linebackers for Bob Davie. Perfect throw. And a real nice catch. Strong hands by Babb. Called him out. That's why it wasn't a fumble.
So Sheridan has the Wolverines down at the 20-yard line of the Irish. Hands to McGuffey. McGuffey, so hard to bring down.
Wow. He looks like a video game with him, doesn't it? Bouncing off people.
He will get about 5 yards. About 5 yards shy of that first down line, brought to you today by Xerox.
Yeah, that 5 got him to 122 yards on the day and 23 carries.
Sheridan on second down. Pass complete to McGuffey. And stopped short of the first down by Kyle McCarthy.
Kyle McCarthy.
How many tackles now?
10 for McCarthy. Bruton has 15. We talked to Kyle McCarthy yesterday. Lives with a bunch of guys on the team off campus. They call it the Kingdom because they have a bunch of unwanted bats and rats and mice and stuff like that.
You called it Animal House, but he
corrected me.
Yes.
The Kingdom.
Total tackles. 2 safeties leading the way. Third down. Blitz. Sheridan's pass is picked off.
David Bruton.
Right on cue, Bruton. Trying to get to the sideline using a blocker and just tripped up, and that'll be a flag on David Moak.
Hey, Tom, how about David Bruton? 16 tackles, tackle for loss, forced fumble, now has an interception. Hurried the quarterback once on a blitz. Played some great special teams. They play in the band next week at halftime.
Returned it 40 yards, and Coach Weiss says the NFL scouts are drooling over him.
Well, remember, he said to us a couple weeks ago, I want more interceptions and fewer tackles. Well, he's got a lot of tackles, but he got the interception there.
15 tackles by David Bruton today. Tie his career high. And just to put an exclamation point on it, he has that interception and a 40-yard return.
Yeah.
What a game. And they still haven't stepped off the penalty. Now they're doing so.
Well, this is going to be a real transition year for Rich Rodriguez's offense. Tom, just as you mentioned, these are two fine quarterbacks, but not the kind of quarterbacks he would have recruited to run his spread offense. Horse collar penalty against Michigan. That's what they got him the extra 15 yards. It's a new rule this year.
And the horse collar tackle makes it first down at the 41, where James Aldridge has a nice run, and he fumbles the football. And when they unstack them, it will be Notre Dame ball.
And Michael Floyd making the recovery. Spinning, churning, turning. James Aldridge. Ball out. Good strip by Stevie Brown. And a real hustle play by Michael Floyd.
Really. The Irish have punted on their last 6 possessions, offensive possessions, but they've eaten up the clock and have not turned the ball over. Got the fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Ouch.
Aldridge. It's a loss of a couple.
Let's go back to David Bruton's interception.
Jameson made that play.
Excuse me, Tom, kind of day that he has had. Just a little high ball to the tight end. Good catch by David Bruton, who's done everything well. Just kind of worked his way up through special teams a couple years ago. Got to start last year. And boy, has he made an opportunity as well. He had a pretty good day last week as well.
We talked to him last week, and an engaging young man.
Yeah.
Born in Winchester, Kentucky. He's a cousin of Tyson Gay, the world champion 100 and 200 meters, who had such a disappointing Beijing Olympics with an injured hamstring left over from the U.S. Olympic trials.
And he was saying to us, he's got a 3-year-old son named Jayden, and that is his pride and joy. When he's not going to class or practicing, he's with his son, Jayden, who usually at the stadium with a number 27 jersey on the front and knucklehead on the back.
I like the knucklehead part. He said, that's my name for him. 4th down and a couple of yards, and the clock down under 5 minutes. Notre Dame goes for it on 4th down. Clausen through the hands of Allen. It was going to have the first down, too. Instead, the ball goes over to Michigan, but they trail 35-17. 35-17 as the Irish have taken advantage of Michigan turnovers today. Wolverines have the ball at the 34. And that one's intercepted. Second straight interception for the Irish. This is Gary Gray. Gary Gray with his first career interception. The sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina, who didn't see action all last season, getting a chance to play and picking off.
Just a team that is now brimming with confidence. I think they came in maybe a little unsure of themselves after what happened last week, but boy, they have played well in all 3 phases. And that's what Charlie Weiss said to us last week. He said, hey, I'll be surprised if we don't play much better than a year ago in all 3 phases. And he said, I expected a lot more emotion, and he's gotten it today.
Look at the defensive summary. That was the second interception and a 41-yard return by Gray as Sheridan was picked off from back-to-back passes.
Corwin Brown, a former Wolverine, has to be pretty happy with the way his defense is played.
He's the defensive coordinator. Hughes. Slammed down, lost his helmet in the process. And if you're just joining us, Notre Dame coach Charlie Weiss on the sideline in crutches, injured in the first half. He gets rolled up, and the diagnosis is torn ACL, torn MCL of his left knee. He was taken off in a golf cart at halftime, but has remained on the sideline here in the second half. And we're also told that he will, in fact, hold his post-game press conference. MCL, ACL torn as he was rolled up on the sideline.
Jersey guy.
Hughes inside the 10.
But there's no better feeling, I think, for an offensive line is when you can run the football when the defense knows you're going to. And this offensive line we've talked about much maligned, but boy, they have played well, particularly in the pass protection game for 2 weeks, but now getting some running game going as well.
Michigan has turned the ball over 6 times today, and you can't win doing that. Hughes stepped out of a couple tackles at the line of scrimmage, stopped a yard short of the first down. We're inside 3 minutes. Now the pass protection has been pretty amazing for Charlie Weiss's offensive line. The same line that, and backs picking up the blitz. The same line that gave up those NCAA record 58 sacks last year.
Well, remember Sam Young said to us last week that immediately after that Stanford game last year, their last of the year, they flew back and they started the next day to prepare for this season. They just did not want to be embarrassed again. And boy, they have played very, very well. Again, as we said at the very top, a really talented front seven.
4th down, and they'll go for it again. Fake it, pass to the end zone. And intercepted.
Well, they have some confidence in Michael Floyd.
Intended for Michael Floyd and intercepted by Morgan Trent.
A lot of confidence Charlie Weiss has in Michael Floyd.
Almost had it.
Pretty good defensive play.
And then on the carom, lying on his back, able to make the interception, Trent. Well, time now for our Liberty Mutual Legends of the Game. Lou Holtz coached 132 games in 11 seasons at Notre Dame, guiding his teams to an overall record of 100 wins, 30 losses, 2 ties. He holds the Irish record for most games coached, and of course led his school to the 1988 National Championship. And today the statue of Holtz unveiled here. Went out for the ceremonial coin toss to start the game and then took a bow with his 88 national champions on the field in the first quarter.
You know, the amazing thing about that 88 team, their first game, as you mentioned earlier, Tom, opened up with Michigan. They did not score on offense. Scored 19 points on special teams. Kick return for touchdown, 4 field goals. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of that remarkable year for the Irish.
As you saw there, Threet is back at quarterback for Michigan.
I'll tell you one thing, although this may be a tough year as they transition into the spread offense, they found a pretty good running back in Sam McGuffey, don't you think, Tom?
Oh, wow. He is really impressive as now flags come flying. Some hot tempers over there on the sideline. Carson Butler is the tight end of the Wolverines. Getting a lecture from Coach Rod. Coach Rodriguez, of course, coming over from West Virginia, which was kind of a messy parting.
Divorce, yeah.
And then some of the Michigan faithful thought he didn't respect the Michigan traditions enough. Some of them he thought
the play was over. Personal foul. Blow to the helmet. Number 5 offense. Number 5 is ejected from the game.
So Carson Butler ejected from the game for that blow to the helmet. And here's the replay of what happened. Oh, there it is, obviously, on Wolko. And Coach Rod giving him. But Coach Rod said, too, that some of those traditions he wasn't even aware of. He thought they were small things. He didn't know about them, and he said it was kind of blown out of proportion. But
it's a delicate balance, don't you think, when you're trying to change something, which he was hired to change their offensive, but to balance that with their rich tradition they have at Michigan.
And he said those two things, the messy leaving of West Virginia and then the carping by some of the Michigan faithful, kind of took all the joy out of the transition for being named head coach at a place as prestigious as Michigan, the all-time leader in college football in wins and winning percentage.
Well, when he gets his guys in that offense, trust me, they're going to score a lot of points.
An encore carry for McGuffey.
We saw a lot of his teams when he was at West Virginia, Tom, over the years, and you know, he's one of the real innovative guys in this spread offense. But you know, different type of personnel. He inherited Lloyd Carr's personnel, good players, but just a different style.
Well, you know, this rivalry, one of the greatest in all of college football, maybe a little tattered around the edges because of maybe the teams aren't up to their normal high standards, but it's still Michigan, Notre Dame, and it's going to be a huge lift for the Irish to get this win against the Wolverines today. Mesko with the punt. Allen. Can't get him down. Finally they do. Zach Johnson, who blocked a punt earlier.
Well, how about the Coke Zero play of the day, Tom? It could be given to a lot of them, but how about the one to Golden Tate? Look at the cushion. Almost 7 yards. Kind of fakes the slant. You know, the little slant and then go. And you can only do that when you have terrific protection, which he did. And I'll tell you, Golden Tate, in his first 2 weeks, have run by a couple of defensive backs for touchdowns.
That's the Coke Zero offensive play of the game. Here's the victory formation by the Irish as Clausen takes a knee. Well, the big question mark lingering now is what about Coach Weiss as they head to East Lansing to take on the Spartans? They don't. No mercy. No mercy, despite the torn MCL and ACL, despite being soaking wet already. He gets the Gatorade bath, and I think he loved it.
Yeah. You know, they go to Michigan State next week, and you know, where will he be? Sidelines or press box? Knowing Charlie, I think he's going to fight to be on the sideline.
He'll be fighting the doctors for that honor. Tough day for Coach Rod. Too many turnovers for the Wolverines to overcome. 6 takeaways by the Irish. 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions. And the final score, Notre Dame 35 and Michigan 17. That's the final score of today's game, which was presented by Coke Zero. We'll be back in 30 seconds to hear from Coach Weiss on the Vonage post-game report.
And I'm Bernie Smilovitz along with Gary Muller, and you're going to hear from Coach Muller. You're going to hear from Rich Rodriguez and the players. Michigan loses to Notre Dame. We're back with our post-game show after this.